Well, hello and welcome to my home. I'm Dr. Valerie Walker. I'm a board-certified family physician, and today, Big Boy and I, who you see in the background, Big Boy, who's just a killer goldfish, he loves to think that all the time, is going to bring you really good information on how to cure high blood pressure and diabetes. That's right, you heard it right here. We are going to cure, not treat, cure high blood pressure and diabetes. So we're going to start doing a series on how to live well and how to live healthy. You know, they say in the Bible, in the third epistle of John, and you know your Johns, you got John in 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, so don't go running around acting like you don't know your Johns. God asks us and wants us to be healthy and prosper, even as our soul prosper. So what I want to talk to you today about is the cure for diabetes and high blood pressure. And trust me, if you follow the things I'm going to tell you today, there is a cure. You'll have low blood pressure and you'll have low cholesterol, and you will actually have a low blood sugar. We want everything now low. The only thing we want high is our finances and getting out of debt, but we really want everything low. So today we're talking about the cure, and we're going to do it the biblical way and the traditional way and the natural way to cure diabetes and high blood pressure. As y'all very well know, in this society, we're not geared too much toward wellness. We're geared more toward sickness. Most people tell me, oh, Dr. Walker, I'm sick. I need my pills. They claim illnesses for my high blood pressure, my cholesterol. And I always ask them, when did you buy it? When did it turn into yours? Was it on sale that particular day? So what I try to bring to my patients, and what I'm trying to do in these series, period, is bring an element of wellness where we can get up every morning, we can look good, we can feel good, and we can be good the way God wants us to be. So the first thing we're going to do is real simple. I promise you, if you can remember your A, B, C, D, E, F, G, remember, and the teacher in school always stopped you right there to make sure you had that little size of the alphabets first, and then they took you further. That's the way I'm going to teach this lesson today, just for you. And I promise you, I can make a promise. If it fails, I will take you to dinner and we'll have something real healthy. If you follow these guidelines that I'm going to teach you today, you will have the cure for high blood pressure and diabetes. Now, if you relapse, that's not to say it can't come back on you. If you start eating fried chicken and fried donuts every night, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about following these things on a daily basis, because if you remember the good book, God only gives us manna for one day. So if we follow these things just today, we'll let tomorrow take care of itself, because God didn't give you manna for tomorrow. So our first is our A for A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So I'll give you a few seconds, or go grab your pen or pencil if you need one, so you can follow along and you can take notes. The first A is for our hemoglobin A1C. And this is a test. Don't try to memorize all this. You would have had to go to medical school years and years to understand the principle. But actually, this is a test that will tell us what your blood sugar has been doing for the past 3 months. So if you come to the doctor in March, we can go back to January and just give you an average of your blood pressure and the readings that you've had. Now, you don't have to just not take them and say, oh, I heard Dr. Walker say you all can do a test and can tell me what my blood sugar has been doing for the last 3 months. That's not it. You want to check your sugar every day, just like your doctor tell you to do, so you can get an average reading yourself of how well you're doing. But for physicians such as myself, we like to see what has been your average over the last 3 months, and then 3 to 4 sometimes, but usually 3 months, your doctor will try to check it to see exactly how it's been doing. The American Diabetic Association says usually 7 or below, but I'm a tougher taskmaster. I tell my patients they have to be at least 6.5 and down. And if you're not, then we have to do some things to tighten up your ship to get that hemoglobin A1C under control. And one of the best ways I found out to keep it under control is is to limit those carbohydrates. This is your fuel source for your body. This is your energy. And you need some carbohydrates. The problem is we eating too many. We eating carbohydrates like that's the only thing left on the planet. Our cake, our cookies, our pies, all these things. And then not only the carbohydrates, most people don't know that fruits are carbohydrates also. And we're going to talk about that a little later. There are some fruits that you can do that has a lower glycemic index than some other fruits, but you got to watch that too. Sometimes if you want to see your blood sugar rise, and I'm talking about rise all the way to the top, eat a big old slice of watermelon and wait about 20 minutes and go check your blood sugar. Fruits have natural sugar, which are better for you, but it's still sugar. So you've got to get that hemoglobin A1C under control in order to cure diabetes. So what's your number? If it's 11, if it's 10, it doesn't matter where you start. We can meet you wherever you are, but we've got to get that blood sugar under about 6.5. Those are my standards. So that's A. So write that down. Hemoglobin A1C if you're diabetic, to keep it low. Usually under about 5.6 is really normal, and it gives you a low risk of diabetes. And B is your blood pressure. You have got to keep your blood pressure under control, and there's a cure for blood pressure. Most people don't know naturally you can eat celery and lower your blood pressure. Celery is a natural diuretic. Fruits and vegetables, especially vegetables and the green vegetables, and we'll talk about that a little later, they have so many things that are good for you. So celery, start your day off eating you some celery. It's okay to eat it in the morning. I don't know why we think we have to eat vegetables at night. Eat vegetables in the morning, especially if you're going to make an omelet. The next thing you want to do is make sure to control your blood pressure. You've got to control your salt intake. Did you know that most of the salt we consume come from packaged goods? We think it comes from the salt shaker. So we come in and go, oh, Dr. Walker, I retired the salt shaker. I don't use a lot of salt. But what about those packaged foods that you're eating? Most packaged foods are loaded with salt just to preserve them. So at least 2 grams or less of salt every day. And if you're hypertensive, probably even less. And for goodness sake, don't pick up the salt shaker, because that's not good. But read the label on all your foods and make sure they have a low. You'll see sodium. You won't see salt. You'll see sodium chloride. Make sure it has a low amount. The next thing is the C is for your cholesterol. What is cholesterol? Cholesterol is a substance in the body that actually you need. So you do need some cholesterol. Cholesterol synthesizes the sex hormones. And that's why a lot of times if ladies are overweight, they're having problems with their little monthly menstruals and all that. A lot of times it's because the diet is too high in cholesterol. So you need some cholesterol. The problem is we eating and got too much cholesterol. Where does cholesterol come from? There's 2 sources of cholesterol, and both of them start with an F. One is family and one is food. So the family, we can't do anything about. Mom and dad done had you, they done the little do. Grandmama and granddad, they done the little do. So you're here. So we cannot negate the family history. Those are genetic. So you can't run away from your DNA. But what we can do is control what we're eating every day. And we're eating too many foods that are just loaded with cholesterol. So we're going to have to watch our cholesterol content. Most labs will take cholesterol under 139. I like a cholesterol level of about 180 or less. Now, there are 2 types of cholesterol. HDL cholesterol, that stands for high density lipoprotein, and low density lipoprotein. Now you need a lot of the high density lipoprotein because it's like Roto-Rooter. It goes through your body and it just eats up all the bad cholesterol and it arrests. It's like the share. The HDL cholesterol, the good one, goes in, arrests the bad cholesterol, and it's squirted out of your body. If your HDL, which is the good cholesterol, is out of whack, then it doesn't leave any room to remove the bad cholesterol. So it's just like life. It's just like the Lord and the devil. It's good and evil. So it's a good cholesterol. All cholesterol is not bad. And then it's the bad cholesterol. What we want to do is eliminate the bad cholesterol. Guess what's the best way to elevate that HDL cholesterol? And we're going to talk about that a little later under E. Is exercise. If you exercise, you can raise that HDL cholesterol. And be ye man or woman at my office, I like all my patients to come in with an HDL at least over 50. That will be protective for the heart to get that cholesterol down. So that's another way that we get rid of high blood pressure and we get rid of diabetes. Actually, what they're recommending in medicine today, that if a person is diabetic, they want you on a cholesterol lowering drug right off the bat, and they want you on something for your blood pressure to protect your kidneys. We call them ACE inhibitors right off the bat. So we're trying to stop a lot of that to get you to wellness in a natural way. So the best way to do that is, one, control that cholesterol. Watch those foods that are high cholesterol. You know, cheese. Yeah, you up at midnight going downstairs, going in the ice box, eating some cheese. We know about it. So let's just stop this. I tell my patients a lot of times, if the literature don't help them and you want a quick way to find out what's high in cholesterol, just Google it. Just Google foods high in cholesterol, print it off, and circle all the things that you're doing. And please don't let your page be full of circles. Oh my goodness. It's usually a lot of times one thing you're doing that's high in cholesterol that you may not be aware of. So we've got to get the cholesterol down. We want the HDL cholesterol, which is the good one, up, and we want the LDL, which stands for lipoprotein cholesterol. We want it down. So we want the good up and we want the bad down. Isn't that the way life works? And isn't that the way what God teaches? He wants the bad in us to die out, meaning die out to ourselves, and He wants the good to come up. Well, the human body is the same way because He created us. It's so funny. I had a patient one time said, Dr. Walker, you know what? I said, what? He said, you know, you love to talk about that Jesus thing. I said, well, yeah. He said, well, I need to tell you. He said, I don't believe in that. I went, oh, okay. I said, what do you believe in? Oh, he said, oh, I believe that we were monkeys and that over time we just started walking around and we just evolved into people. I went, oh. I said, okay. I said, I'll go along with that. I said, I'll go along with it if you could just tell me one thing and one thing only. And he said, what is that? I said, who made the monkeys? And that was the end of that story. So anyway, moving right along here. So we got our ABC now. We got our hemoglobin A1C. We got to control our blood pressure. So limit our salt and exercise and getting our weight down. We got our cholesterol, our diet. D, what in the world are we eating? Let me tell you something what happened. Years ago, it used to be farmers. And we ate one thing, meaning you go outside when your mom planted a garden years ago, you just pick a tomato and you ate it. That was one thing. Or you go to the field and peel some corn and cook it or roast it. It was one thing, always one ingredient. All of a sudden, when we start packaging food, putting them on the market, if you look at the label on anything that you see in a grocery store, the label is so long, it's full of things you can't even pronounce. And whatever happened to just a sugar cookie having, how do you bake a sugar cookie? A little flour and a little butter and milk or whatever you put in there. Until if you look on the back of any cookie package in a grocery store, it has at least 20 to 30 ingredients. You don't need all that to make a cookie. And most of them are chemicals. They're not natural. So when we came out of our kitchen and started buying packaged foods at the grocery store, and then we started limiting our diet to what we could eat in fast food markets, if you look at the curve of American health, we just start plunging straight down. Right now, they're listing us as the most unhealthiest nation in the world because of our diet. Guess what we eat now? We've gone all the way from, remember in the 40s and the 50s when you sat around with your parents and you had a real meal, you talked, you prayed. Oh yeah, you prayed back in those days too. That's something we don't do anymore, and we're gonna have to pray for God to heal our land actually and heal our health. But we sat around tables and we held hands and we prayed. Guess what we do now? We get our breakfast out of the gas station. Now when I was growing up, the only thing the gas station sold was gas and maybe a few little trinkets on the side. Now we go in gas stations and buy hamburgers and hot dogs and donuts. I'm going, whoever stopped it, I won't name the gas stations because you know them, in gas stations and buy your breakfast. Whatever happened to sitting around having an old-fashioned meal? So we've got to get our diet together. And the things I tell you about diet, write these down. You've got to write them down to make it work. It's in threes. Number one, when you shop, you only want 3 types of vegetables. Fresh first, frozen second, and canned last. But canned means not canned in the store, because a can of string beans in the store could actually stay on the shelf for about 5 years. So I'm not talking about that can. I'm talking about the can your grandmamas used to do, where they used to cup up pickles and put them in jars with a little vinegar, or a thing my mom still does today in Georgia is called cha-cha, which is cucumbers and onions and all these things. That are pickling. That's what I'm talking about. We need to leave the canned shells, things on the shelf where they belong. So let's just do fresh, let's do frozen, let's do some things that you make yourself, and that's the way we'll do our vegetables. For our meats, we're going to do chicken, fish, and turkey. Just say chicken, fish, turkey. Chicken, fish, turkey. Chicken, fish, turkey. And let it just ring in your mind when you're in the grocery store. Chicken, fish, turkey. And we're going to try and leave the other meats alone. A little pork and beef is okay sometime, but it takes beef a long time to digest, and pork is a little high in fat. So we want lean chicken. Lean fish don't have a whole lot of grease, so when you do your fish, you want fatty fish that are rich in omega-3s, which help your heart also. And I'll talk about that on another segment of this thing that we're doing right now, but we'll do that later. You always want to do fatty fish like salmon, mackerel. Guess what? Sardines are even good. Don't you look at me like that when I say sardines. Bust you out a can and open them. They're very good for you, and got calcium in them also to help your bones. So you want to eat fish, chicken, and turkey, baked, boiled, or grilled. That's the way you want to prepare these meats. You don't want to fry. Throw the grease out. And if you have to use grease, one that's acceptable for me is extra virgin oil, olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil. Did you know, you remember the story of Noah? You remember the Bible, the story of Noah and the ark, etc. And when the bird went out and he finally brought back a twig or a vine, a piece of a tree to let Noah know that he found dry land. Guess what it was? It was from an olive tree. Fast forward to today. Guess what's the best oil that you can consume? It's actually extra virgin olive oil. So it costs a little bit more, but go out and invest in it and leave the other oils on the shelf. Even when they say pure vegetable oil, just trick of the devil, just trickery. That's what he's into. Let's get some olive oil for that. So that's what we want to eat at our diet. We want plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables, the way it was in the Garden of Eden. Wasn't in the Garden of Eden, it was fruits and vegetables. I don't recall McDonald's. I don't recall Burger King being in the Garden of Eden. I don't think so. So let's get our diet together. Let's drink plenty of water, eat our meats baked, grilled, or boiled, plenty of vegetables, some fruit, and olive oil if we need it. And nuts are good for you too. And you know one of the best nuts for you actually is a walnut. Guess what we call a walnut? Brain food. And let me show you this. Let me just show you. I ordered me a brain just for this presentation because I knew you was not going to allow me to use your brain during this presentation. I knew my producer John wouldn't, so I had to go out and buy one. And this brain actually, if you look at it closely, and you're going to learn a lot about this brain. And no, I'm not trying to teach you anything about anatomy just yet. We'll do that on other shows. They really have it really well packed up. Okay, so we'll take our little paper off our brain, and let me show you something. Okay, when you look at this brain, when we separate it, it's been outside for a while, so I hope I can separate it. Well, it's still kind of sealed real tight, and I don't feel like thinking I may break it up. But if you look at this brain right here, What does this remind you of? What does this remind you of? It looks like a walnut. It looks like a half of a walnut. And guess what? Walnuts help your brain. So the next time you're in the store, make sure you invest in some walnuts is a good nut. Almonds are a good nut. Pistachios are very good nuts. So get you some nuts. Nuts are very good for you. And don't forget that old walnut, which is brain food, has all kind of things in there to help you remember more. And it actually looks like the brain. So I know you won't have any trouble remembering that. Okay? So that's what we're going to do with our diet. Another thing I want you to memorize when it comes to your diet is this. Just memorize every time you go in the store. Just say, she said, no sweets, no fried. No sweets, no fried. No sweets, no fried. Just make it a little poem in your head. No sweets, no fried. And we certainly don't want to do donuts. I'm going to let you start somewhere. Let's eliminate donuts, French fries, and soda. Can you do that for me? Can you just eliminate those 3 things from your diet? And we'll be way down that road to good health. You don't want to be my outlawed foods or anything that contains high fructose corn syrup. This is a syrup that is so sweet and it's in everything. And a lot of experts are actually thinking that this may be the cause of everybody getting diabetes. Just flip the label over. If you see high fructose corn syrup, put it back on the shelf. Yogurts, all of them. I think the Greek yogurts don't have the high fructose corn syrup, but ketchup, beans, ranch dressing, everything that you see high fructose corn syrup, put it back. And my other outlaw food is aspartame. This is what's in diet soda, diet products. This is the blue sugar. If you see anything with aspartame, you want to put that back on the shelf too. So no soda, no donuts, no fried food, no aspartame, and no high fructose corn syrup. And we're going to be halfway healed all the way right then and there. That's part of our wellness. Then the other thing we're going to have to do, you've got to exercise. And I know you're going, oh, I knew she was going to say that. That's right, you've got to do it. If you want to maintain looks such as mine, and I do that because I drink a lot of water every day and I exercise, you have got to work out every day. And I don't care if it's 20 minutes. Don't tell me about you don't have time. I have patients tell me all the time, Dr. Walker, I don't have time to exercise. By the time I drop the kids off and I go do this and I go do that, let me tell you something. God and His wisdom gave us 24 hours in the day. And I know out of those 24 hours, you can bust out 20 or 30 minutes for you. That leaves you over 23 hours just for you. I don't care if you walk it, stretch it, swim it, play ball, just run, just carve out something just for you for 30 minutes every single day, 7 days a week. Remember I told you earlier, it'll increase the high density lipoprotein, the good cholesterol in your body, the exercise will, out of 24 hours. It's almost like when God asks you for the tithe. He said, I don't want your whole check. He said, I just want 10%. Well, I don't want you to exercise. Now, see, I could flip this and say, exercise for 23 hours and do everything else you need to do in an hour. Just like God can flip it and say, you know what? I think I need 90% of that time. And you keep the 10, you wouldn't think that would be fair. So I think you can hang on to that little 30 minutes. And I tell patients all the time, would you rather 30 minutes to an hour? Would you like to exercise for an hour or be dead for 24 hours? I mean, take your pick. You got one. So let's get our fitness together and find what you like too. We found out people exercise better when they do what they like. Like I'm a walker. I love to walk and I like to walk by myself because I can listen to pastors like Bishop Jake and Joyce Meyer and all these people I love to listen to while I walk. And I can really get into it versus when I'm with somebody, I feel committed to talk. I talk all day. As you all can see, I am a talker. I talk all the time. So I need that quiet time. So if I'm not listening to one of my spiritual tapes and all, then I just talk to God and the birds and the bees or whatever. But everybody needs that quiet time for themselves, and exercise is a great way to do it. Other thing to do with your fitness is make sure you drink a lot of water. Guess how much water you're supposed to be drinking? Half of your body weight. So if you weigh, you go, oh, that's a lot of water. I'm going to feel waterlogged. No, you won't. If you weigh 200 pounds, that's 100 ounces a day. So that's a little over a gallon of water a day. You need to start early in the morning so you don't be up all night long running to the bathroom and telling me you can't sleep. You run into the ladies' room all night. Most of you not sleeping no way. And we'll talk about that on a different episode of this series that we're doing. But you've got to drink as part of your fitness half of your body weight to stay well hydrated, because most Americans, believe it or not, we found out is dehydrated. Nobody drinks enough water, so we all dehydrated. So increase the water, don't do sodas at all. I mean, you cannot do soda, period. Not regular, too much sugar. High fructose corn syrup is the second ingredient on the soda. If you got a can available, go look at it and see what you see. High fructose corn syrup. Then you can't do diet because they will have aspartame in it and a lot of salt. So you swapping sugar for salt. Come on now. That's like saying, do you want to have a heart attack or do you want cancer? They both are bad. So let's get on the water kick and drink a lot of it. Keep it with you. Find a bottle of water that you like and just drink it. So lots of water for our fitness. So just to recap our ABCD, A is for our hemoglobin A1C, B is going to be for our blood pressure, C for our cholesterol, D for our diet, E we go into exercise every day, 7 days a week, even after church on Sunday. We had that big Sunday meal. That's the best time to go because you need to walk some of all that turkey and dressing off of you. We're going to stay fit because when our mind is fit, our body is fit. And G, and finally, stands for today is a good day to have a good day. I'm Dr. Valerie Walker, and this has been my message today on how to cure, not treat, cure high blood pressure and diabetes. We'll be back with another series for you real soon. Thank you. You can follow me if you want to. You can find me on Facebook. You can go to my website, drvaleriewalker.com, where we have all kind of recipes and good quotes and things to make you feel better. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I have a book out, 131 Ways to Live to be 131. It's going fast to be a best-selling book, and it's funny, but it's everything you need to know about the body. Until next time, I'm Dr. Valerie Walker, and myself, on behalf of myself, my entire staff and crew, and naturally, Big Boy, we will see you next time.